So one day we're filming at Figures, and out of the blue, Killen goes, we're going to wrap this show up and stop recording this the next couple weeks so that we can start on our new show, The Show, and we'll have that ready for C2E2. I'm like, okay, you know, cool. Like, we had discussed starting the show, and we had discussed wrapping up at Figures, but he decides right then and there, now's the time to announce it and do it. I'm like, all right, well. So for C2E2, we got to do it. So, you know, wraps up the show. We talk about C2E2. We're like, all right, we got to get video of us staying in front of the big C2E2 logo. We got to do some sort of intro. We got to, you know, talk about some of the different things that we're doing at C2E2 as like introduction to the different segments and stuff like that. Never happens. The entire time we're there, the entire weekend, never get a chance to film any of that stuff. We get back and, you know, I say something to Killen. I'm like, I need to get the footage, you know, from you, or give you my footage one way or the other, so we can put that episode of the show together. And he's like, oh yeah, we got to do that. We got to, yeah. And then he's like, oh, by the way, I'm getting married, and so like, there's like a whole, pretty much the whole week of that thing, kind of ate up our time. And I was like, dude, you know, we got to get the show together. He's like, oh yeah, totally. We're gonna do that next. You know, I'll get the footage to you or whatever. Never happens. Never brings it in. And then he's like, oh, I can't find the plug for my camera, so it's got no power and we can't plug it in. So we can't get to the footage. So then he's got to find it. So then he's like got to dig stuff up and tear stuff apart, and he's got to try to find the adapter to his camera. And then finally, one day I'm like, all right, listen, you're leaving on Friday, so on Thursday morning, come into the store early. We'll film like an introduction. We'll film, you know, like, hey, welcome to the show, and, you know, blah, 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 and all that kind of stuff. And he's like, okay, cool. Doesn't show up. Thursday morning comes, doesn't show up. I'm here at 9 o'clock. 9 o'clock, no Killen. 9:15, no Killen. 9:30, no Killen. 9:45, like 11:45 after the store is open and there's people, public walking in here. Then he finally comes in. He's got a couple things to do. He's like, oh yeah, I found the plug for that camera, so it's sitting over there, and leaving for my honeymoon tomorrow. So see you later, bye. So I'm like, all right, well, I guess I'll put the show together. Why not? You know, I mean, I can do it. Just editing some video together, doing a couple voiceovers, no big deal. So whatever, you know. A special episode of the show featuring dirt. You know, yay for me. And then I get like this message from him. He's like, oh yeah, by the way, don't call it the show. Pardon me, but we've been telling everybody for like 2 months that C2E2 special is going to be the first episode of the show. And that's going to kick off the show in the C2E2. And then we've taken forever, and people are asking, where's the show? Where's the show? Where's the show? Where's the show? And we've got nothing to show for it, and now you're telling me don't call this the show. And he's like, nah, this is just Pop Culture Network special C2E2. It's not the show. What am I going to do? What am I going to do, Soups? I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know either. So, welcome to the Pop Culture Network C2E2 special.
let's do this. Let's play this game. I'm gonna go. I'm on my way. I'm gonna go the other way.
Spider-Man. The glasses.
Go to that panel last night. With the Pop Culture Network, and today, it's been a while, I haven't talked to him for a while, our boy Jeff, GBJR Toys, formerly known as Shocker Toys. We're just going to go ahead and erase all that. We're going to start fresh. Jeff's got some stuff that he's been working on. What's coming?
For Philly, I'm trying to get it for Philly Wizard. I'm working on getting, we had the GoFundMe going, but I'm trying to bring in early the colored Max, or colored Dick Tracy, so they have the yellow coat suit, and then we also have Mr. Gone coming finally. Those will be mailed away to everybody that had a mail away. You're going to get your Mr. Gones. If you change your address, just make sure you email us and let us know.
You hear that? If you change your address,
let me know so you can get it.
He doesn't read minds.
That's right. So Mr. Gone's coming, and then we also have that, Tracy, the Blank, which was a San Diego exclusive. We're bringing that out as well. I'm trying to get a little bit at a time, as much as I can, from the old line that was promised. It didn't come. I'm trying to get it out.
So you can promise fans this time that no more Shocker Toys.
That's right. This stuff is actually in production now. The figures that I mentioned are in production, so I can have them for Wizard World Philly. I can fill orders that people had them in. We also have the Tick coming. He's coming with the Viewmaster. Unfortunately, Jack Staff is no longer with the line. Great artist, but he didn't want to sign back on board. A lot of stuff happened, so we're going to use that figure as like a blank customizer because it doesn't have the flag, the Union Jack flag on it. So that's one of the extras on the GoFundMe as a reward.
I was just going to ask you, so how are these figures now coming? Coming from the GoFundMe, right?
Yeah, so the GoFundMe is almost at its goal. We were going for 20,000, and then I think the extended goal from that is 25,000, which is the max, which comes with the hat and the coat. So I was going to list it at 25,000, but I listed a little early because people really wanted it. So I'm like, I listed, but I told you, it's not going to actually ship or start production until we reach the $25,000 mark. But we're almost at the 20,000 mark. It's been real cool. A lot of people have donated, keep donating.
You said only a couple $100 away?
Only a couple $100 away.
Last time you checked, anyway.
Yeah, last time I checked, a couple hundred. So I'm hoping this show, I told everybody about it, that they've been putting into it. So this money is going directly to tooling. This money is going directly to production. I've never taken a dime for anything else but to make the toys.
Can you mention what you were talking about over there that you want to do?
Which Chuck E. Cheese?
No, the other one, the Monster
I want to do a Monster Spotlight line. I had mentioned these a while back with the old company with Shocker Toys, where I wanted to break off in other things just besides any Spotlight. So, of course, the first breakaway, as you guys remember from the old company, was the Golden Age line, which I'm still planning to do. That's all. I have no problems with those because they're public domain, so the licensing never expires. I don't have to worry about all that. So the Golden Age will still get done. That's part of the body system anyways. So I want to expand into other stuff too, like maybe Monster Spotlight. Same things I was talking about when I was with Shocker, but this time I actually want to put the stuff out.
Give me a couple monsters that you would like to do, that you could do.
I definitely like to do a Bigfoot.
Got to do Bigfoot.
Yeah, got to do a Bigfoot.
Is a Bigfoot and a Yeti the same, or Sasquatch the same thing?
We could do. I think we want to do some variations, like a Bigfoot, maybe a Yeti, Abominable Snowman. Do a couple repaints. I think it would be really cool because it's all in scale of what you have. So you know, I'd like to do some other things down the road, but I think Indie Spotlight was the start, and it had a rough bump in the middle there. But I think if we can get everything going again, and now with GoFundMe and people are supporting it more, you know, we can get everything.
Yeah, the figures that I had, absolutely love.
Yeah.
The Tick, Music Tick, just all the figures that I had. Stud, I had no problem with them whatsoever.
That's good to hear. Yeah, I mean, most people love our stuff. You know, it's just that things happen.
So are you going to try again on the Shakinis then?
Yeah, I'm going to try again on the Shakinis. I will be relisting those, and I'm trying to add a gaming component to it, so I think it'll make a big difference.
That'd be cool.
Tabletop gaming is big, and you can add. That's originally what they were for. When I originally started the original company, Shocker Toys, before I brought on partners and stuff, that was supposed to be a gaming system with robots, but that turned into the little figures that you see now, they're the Shakinis. So the gaming system's still there, just got to readjust it, make it more for blanks. There was a guy doing Perils of the Bold. He was using the Stigmas in like an online webcomic with the Shakinis. He used both, and that got me thinking, like, you could have your own, like, you know, your own tabletop games with fantasy and all kinds of other stuff in it. Just add a kit to it. You can paint them yourself. So basically, like Warhammer, just add a bunch of other things to it. In that scale, 3 3/4, I think it'd be pretty cool. So I think that's what I'm going to try to re-gear for those. People are still going to buy them as blanks. I just want to have something behind it. I've noticed that if anybody wants anything now, they want to have something extra attached to the product. So it's like Toys R Us. They like the Shakinis, but they don't understand the blanks. They want to have a comic book license. So everything's got to have something behind it. I'm working on that too. Eventually, we'll be talking to Toys R Us about going back in there. I mean, they carried Series 1. It wasn't a huge breakdown for that. I think it went into all the stores that had room because they came on so late. We didn't have much product left in the Series 1. So
yeah, we did. I think we did see. We've seen them in I think the Chicago Toys R Us.
Chicago might have had them.
We didn't see them in our local Springfield.
Yeah, and Jersey didn't. None of the Jersey had them. Times Square had them. Jersey didn't have them. There's a lot of collectors in Jersey. I'm like, you guys missed out on all the collectors in Jersey. They had a lot of returns too, so I know a lot of you guys might have been clipping the UPCs and bringing them back. I don't know.
What's the next con you're going to be at?
Next con is going to be Wizard Philly.
When is that? You know?
That's beginning of June. There, it's May into June.
Okay.
So now, just so everybody knows, I have a release party on June 1st at Dobbs, the legendary Dobbs on South Street, and James Marshall is going to be performing with his band Ghost and the Robot. I booked him for the show, so it'll be him. It'll be Pretty Poison Burlesque. It's going to be a bunch of people, different acts there, you know, a bunch of bands. It's going to be really cool. So it'll be a VIP area upstairs. You get your tickets online. If you go to my website, there's a link on there. There's a link on the Facebook too.
What's your website?
It's www.gbjrtoys.com.
It's very original, yet very easy. So I see you over there talking to fans and people. You're not afraid to talk to people about GBR, JR, or Shocker Toys, and that's good. And that's good.
Yeah, I don't shy away from what happened with the old company. It's obvious that there was problems. Everybody knows what happened. Whether there might be a few people that don't believe it or whatever, they have a grudge against. That's fine. When you own a company and you lose $130,000, that's a very bad thing. Most companies would just fold up and close and say, too bad, you're all out your toys, you're all out your money, that's it. But I didn't do that. I just rebranded, bought all the toy lines back, and just restarted. And I'm just going to, make sure everything comes out. That's it. Fans give me input, I take it, I still listen to everything. It's still the same me. I just want to, some people might call me a crook and a bunch of other stuff, but that's not what it is. I wouldn't be here if I was.
I just call you Jeff.
Yeah, that's a much better term. I like that one.
Well, Jeff, we will make sure we keep in touch with you. If you have any other information, whatever, we'll be sure to put it on the site.
Sounds good. We'll see you guys at Philly, hopefully.
Yep.
All right. Thank you.
Roving. Yeah,
Roving.
Yep.
As you can see, it's right here on the sign behind me, nice and big. And it's a new digital distribution.
Digital distribution platform, kind of like an e-commerce YouTube meets iTunes.
Okay.
So-
And tell us a little bit about it. I mean, what's going on?
So we just opened today, so it's our official kickoff. We use C2E2, which is kind of a cool place to do it in. It's the first time here in Chicago, which is actually kind of fun too. And what we are, we're a digital distribution platform. We distribute film, TV, music, video games, books, and comics all on one site. So you get everything in entertainment, which is fun. We give 100% of the profit back to the content provider, which is what makes us a little bit different. And we also ad share. So we've kind of created a system where you're going to get the best deal if you're a content provider to come and distribute the same through us. For the users, what's unique about us, everything is video based. So whether you have a comic, a book, a video game, TV, film, music, you have to create a video. So from a user experience, that's when we're a lot like YouTube. You get to go on, surf endless videos, watch the content, get all the information about the people, and if you like it, buy it or rent it.
Do you have like a distribution app that you use, or is it directly the content to the consumer?
It's the content to the consumer. We're building a Roving app, so what we'll have is we'll have a library where you can actually take all of your information and compile it and keep it all in one spot. So we'll have a comic reader, a music library, a book reader, all of that will be all in one space. Right now, you're just going to download it on your computer. You can share it with iTunes. You can watch it on your laptop or on your iPad, wherever you want. So that's what's also unique about us. We're not exclusive, so it's completely open. So we're kind of changing the way distribution is done. We're a little disruptive that way, which is good.
Do you have like some sort of system for someone bringing in new content to, do you have a process, like an application process, or is it just kind of like an open door, just bring whatever
we're
you have?
two ways. So because we're independent and we're commercial, so we're open post. So we're a lot like YouTube. You can actually create your own account.
Anybody can go in.
Anybody can go on. You can create your own account. There's certain criteria you have to meet. So obviously you need a video. You have to have all of your metadata, which is all of your basic information. So we're a little bit like IMDb. You'll be able to search and get all that information about all the artists on the site, which is kind of cool. And then for commercial content providers, we're a direct service. So companies like MGM that we met with, Showtime, and all those companies, they're going to be able to upload their content directly to us through a server. It's a little bit different.
And then do you force any type of DRM onto it? Any types of rights management? Or is it?
Yeah, we're a little bit different there too.
Okay.
So the DRM in the music industry, they've already done away with it. So in the book industry, they're kind of holding tight. Comics again, somewhat. So what we're doing is our site is completely DRM free. If you want to place DRM on your page, then you'll have a little icon that'll say it's actually protected with DRM, but you've done it yourself. We are not. So we're a little bit different.
All right. Sounds good.
All right.
Thanks, everybody.
Got it.
Check it out. Roving right there. And I like the 2001 Space Odyssey.
You got it.
Yeah,
There we
I
go.
love that. I love that.
We knew we were going to get that.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, good stuff. All right.
All right. Thank you. I appreciate it, man.
Welcome, citizens of Lantern City. This is Bruce Boxleitner, and I want to personally thank you for the response that we received to our new project. It is a proposed TV series that me and my producing partners are developing, a saga that is character-driven and I think very exciting. Year two.
Of year two. Year two.
Our big announcement is we're still
You know,
talking
this is the
about
funny thing is that I think average folks think that you just throw a TV in, you know, hey, and
Well, isn't it-
when are you coming on?
Wasn't this
It's
announced
just that
at
easy.
San Diego?
Yeah,
last
we
year?
saw San Diego.
Yeah, okay.
Yep.
Right. Well, I mean, let's start for the uninitiated. Someone just stepped off the bus. They have no idea. What is steampunk? How do you define steampunk?
Well, we're going to define it as that TV show Lantern City. I think the guys will agree. It's such a term that is so interpreted by this steampunk community in very many ways, individual ways. You know what I'm saying? It's very diverse. I hate the word actually. It's kind of like I would rather
Well, I wonder if it is
there's
a
diesel punk, Steve punk.
Yeah, I wonder if it's a constraint now on the culture because it's so
Yeah.
flexible and it's grown so much. Is that if you say steampunk, are you putting yourself into a box? I'm not saying that
That
we're doing
came
that,
from
but I
the
wonder from the community if
Yeah,
they
it
feel
came
that
from
way.
the 70s. Michael Moorcock and James Blaylock. These were some of the sci-fi writers that were starting to enter into what we think of current. It actually started somewhere around the late 60s, early 70s.
Yeah, but also, I mean,
Trevor's our steampunk. He's our punk. Yeah. Go.
I mean, even William Gibson, who had,
William
who
Gibson.
did the cyberpunk. I mean, I think it's really where the term sort of started to bend itself with the difference engine and things like that. But I mean, steampunk is the sort of Victorian futurism. That's sort of the standard definition. And what would happen if Victorian technology was sort of taken to the next level, and our modern computers were built out of steam technology and clockwork and things like that. So, I mean, I think for me that's that's sort of the standard definition. But like Matt said, it can be so much more, and there are so many different types, so many different kinds, and that's definitely something that we've tried to replicate and showcase in Lantern City, is all of these different types of steampunk.
Yeah, I think of what my favorite one is. Some of my favorite authors from H.G. Wells, Jules Verne especially, An Atomic Submarine in 1868. That to me is steampunk. Yeah. So we all have our different.
It's kind of how sci-fi became more than just spaceships battling in the stars.
Yeah, exactly.
So
Ours
what's
will be steamships battling in the skies.
So what's the draw for doing a show like this?
Well, we all are really, really fascinated by history, first of all.
Yeah.
And what ifs? I've always enjoyed alternate history.
And then, exactly.
What if that hadn't changed? What if Gettysburg wasn't won by the North, in 3 days? What would America look like now,
Right, and this is a little different because it's not set in our world, but it still is probing that what if question. If we did not have our gaseous technology and all these things, and it was just all powered by steam, what would the world look like? While still advancing so rapidly as it did, from essentially like the beginning of the 19th century till now, the advances are so great that we almost can't even keep up with them. But what if we didn't have these same technologies?
So this is not Earth.
It's not Earth. It's an alternate Earth. So our three main characters travel from our world, from a modern day San Francisco, and go through a magic lantern, basically, which is an old 18th century slide projector, and are transported, each one of them, into the world of Lantern City. So it's, I think for me, one of the interesting things about a show like this is that it gives us an opportunity to create a huge world that nobody's really seen anything like it before. Certainly not of the scale that we're creating, and Bruce and I often talk about, we've been a lot of different places in television. We've been outer
Audiences
space.
have been taken everywhere.
Yeah, outer space.
It's hard to find a new place of imagination.
Yeah, exactly.
To take your audience today. And as storytellers, I think this is a very colorful, diverse, complex place to go. And it's now seemingly in our culture, steampunk is really starting to get a mainstream feel. We were talking earlier about Prada, styles.
Dolce & Gabbana has a new line of steampunk clothes. Prada was the first one.
You want to catch that wave. I mean, I'm talking about just the business end of this, the marketing and everything. You want to sort of catch something that's coming along. So when we do walk out in the street, what is steampunk? It's Lantern City.
What's the last year been like? 'Cause like we said,
Busy.
this was announced at San Diego. There were a couple teasers and things out there. And then what's going on?
We have been working tirelessly. I mean, I think it's one of the things that Matt's been working, I've been working, Bruce has been working. I think one of the things that's interesting is that I think a lot of people, the way normal television is produced, you'll have an announcement like Defiance is coming soon on Sci-Fi, and then a couple months later, there it is. We did this exactly opposite. We flipped it on its ear in terms of how it's produced, and we went to the fans first. We engaged them. We started talking to them, asking them for their designs, asking them for their prop ideas. As we're building it, as we're creating it. So we've been working with Section Studios, Cecil Kim and Justin Yun, and they have been building these worlds, these images for us, all the pre-production art. Matt's been tirelessly writing scripts. Every time he tries to sleep, I hit him with like a wet
when
fish.
you have a life. Other
He
than
doesn't. He basically.
That's the
I'm
trick.
amazed at it.
It's a trick to being a writer. Don't have a life.
But we've also traveling to various TeslaCon this last year.
Yeah, we've done
really
some
immersing
conventions.
in their culture because I want to see it all. I want to breathe it,
Yeah.
sense it, so that we can bring it, in a
And we've
production
been,
way.
and right now we're with a couple of different places that are looking at picking it up in terms of production. So I think that we've got a big announcement tonight at C2E2 and at a panel, which will be broadcast live as well. So I think we're really continuing to give the fans things to really sink their teeth into. But it's funny because we've been working for a whole year now on this project, and now is actually, I think, the most critical time for fans to stick with us because it is a long process. I mean, we're living it at the exact same pace that fans are living it. It's developing a television show is a huge undertaking. And even if you think about a person who's had a lot of hit television shows, Stephen King has had great, wonderful miniseries with The Stand. His new show, The Dome, is just coming on television after 3.5 years of development debacles and things like that. So we're actually running at an incredibly fast pace.
Yeah, because this is a large project. This is not something you do overnight.
Yeah.
The wonderful thing is that I want to mention too is that we have some marvelous actors coming to us. This is a flip too. You go to and you cast actors. We've got actors actually wanting to volunteer. They've read about it, they've seen it, we've talked to them about it, and they go, I want to be in this. And what's wonderful too is that they're actors that are very familiar with this genre in science fiction and fantasy, and their identity is with that for the audience, which is a marvelous thing too.
So is the idea to CGI most of it, or practical, or how are you doing?
It's going to have to be a blend of both. I have obviously we're doing amazing things in CGI, but some of my favorite film and television, District 9, for example, had a wonderful, I think, a really perfect blend between practical and real and CGI effects. I think that Neil and the guys over at Weta did a fantastic job with that blend, and that's really, I think, where we're gonna find our perfection point is really in not having it all CGI, but really trying to keep as much practical as possible. Building the Lantern City Guard, those guys are going to be standing there. So I like to always, try to have it like a blend between a full CGI show and a De Laurentiis Dune production, sort of somewhere right in the sweet spot.
I think Babylon 5 had a great deal of that. Maybe
Absolutely.
a little more so in the practical, but we also had some epic stuff for television in the early 90s, what they could do with CGI. I think we can now step that up more. We have the capability of doing it.
Yeah, and that's the nice thing is if we take all those great ideals that Babylon 5 built and we just take those 20 years down the line, we're in good shape.
But one of the great things about steampunk is these fantastic designs and creations are such a hands-on experience. I mean, you can hold them, you can make them work, you can manipulate them, and even though, as a viewer at home, you can't reach into your television and do that, but you can tell that it's happening, right? This actor is actually operating this incredible,
keyboard,
robot arm gun or whatever. It's like, okay, so it's not just like, well, we'll just put it all in post. It's
Like someone just
real.
randomly reaching out into space and they put something in.
Right, and I'm not an actor, but I just imagine that it will enhance the performances that it's there. You're not.
Agreed.
trying
Yeah,
to-
that's
I said
exactly it.
That's the last thing I'll say about acting.
And also, it's. But I think also.
Get out of my turf.
But I think also it's almost like it would almost be an affront to the fans if we CGI'd all of the equipment and guns and things like that. I mean, I think they would. It really goes almost directly against
Yeah, it's
what
a- it's an
it
insult to
stands
the
for.
art.
What
Vehicles
steampunk stands for is the making and the building of these fantastic devices. And if we CGI'd it, I think that would be heresy.
We'd lose our core immediately.
Yeah.
They'd sniff us out, and that would be it. And justifiably.
Are people shipping you things in the mail that they've built?
No, we don't allow that, but you can go on to lanterncitytv.com,
They submit pictures.
go to the workers forum and submit, and that's actually our process, is you go to the workers forum, sign up, submit your designs. We don't replicate anything. We're not profiteering on any of these designs. The artists all still retain their own rights, and it's really just about us having this wonderful sort of multinational steampunk exhibition that is going to be Lantern
It
City.
can
and the
showcase
TV
their
show.
work.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
Great
it's
opportunities.
such a phenomenon around the world too, which is great because you're finding out, like, well, in Germany they've got a great steampunk, or wherever.
France,
Right.
was incredible. England, obviously.
Yeah.
You know. So.
It's really tapping into something that deserves its due.
And one of the things that was in your teaser, you talked about opening up to the fans and getting those submissions from them. Do they also send characters, storylines, or is it pretty much just for the materials?
It's really the materials. It's the props.
I'm too much of a control freak.
At least at this point.
Yeah, I
was
just
going to say
say
maybe further down the
Yeah.
line, if we get on with, and we've been in a number of seasons, certainly those type of things. You know,
One of the
because
things-
by that time you'll be in a padded cell. You'll be.
That's
we'll
right.
have
We'll be
worked
clinically
so hard
insane.
That's true.
Yeah. One of the things I always thought was interesting about Star Trek, because it is obviously maybe one of the greatest television universes.
Oh, yeah.
They had a submission policy where anybody could send in a script, and they got some great writers out of that. And I really like that idea. Again, I think that's very much in line with what we believe about this show, that it's not just about Hollywood bringing something to people, but it's about all of us together bringing something to Hollywood.
Okay.
One extra boot, Marvel shrunk. It's kind of catchy too. You too.